So the cover is this gorgeous vintage fabric here. Absolutely love this. And then a vintage doily with vintage appliques, vintage buttons. Love these cute little linen buttons. And then this gorgeous sari trim here, which is just absolutely stunning. I think it goes really well with the fabric, and I love the contrast between the vintage and the modern fabric. And this is some 1920s metallic lace. Love that. Absolutely love that. So let's open it up. Oh, actually, before I show you that, I'll show you the little package of goodies that goes with this journal. Got a lovely piece of coffee dyed lace tying this little bundle together. And first of all, we've got this little Paris envelope. This had actually little black and white photographs of Paris, so it was like a souvenir set of photographs. And I've just stuck some scraps of antique lace and this modern lace that I got from our local Asian market. And inside there's a little bunch of goodies in there, which I won't show you because that'll be a nice surprise for the new owner of the journal. So that's that little package of goodies. And then there's one of my tags here that I've made with black and white photo and magazine clippings. I really love this style of tag. I could just make these all day long. And then finally, a vintage postcard that I've just added some antique lace and some beaded applique and this lovely bit of beaded flower here. Love that postcard. Love that little girl. She's so pretty. So that's the little bundle that goes with the journal. I'll just pop that to one side. So going back to the journal, let's just open it up. Nice bit of sari ribbon to close it. I'm just going to move those back a little bit. There we are. Love these beaded appliques. They came on a much larger piece and I've just cut them down. And this is a vintage glass button from check glass. So let's have a look inside. I love the layers on this first page. We've got gorgeous French postcard, the lady from the Folie Bergère. And then just behind her, actually, this is one of the antique French illustrations that I got. I got a huge box full of these. I think there's something like 240 illustrations from a couple of books from the late 1800s, and they're just absolutely gorgeous. So there's a few more of these illustrations featured throughout the journal. This is vintage wallpaper, and then down here just vintage playing card and a little tea card, and then just a pocket made from a printable. This is actually my own printable, this postcard. I'm super excited about that. I've never made a printable before, but it works fantastic. It's come out absolutely wonderful, and I'm really chuffed with that. And then this here's a bit of a printable from one of my favourite ruby and pearl collections. I love these butterflies here. Some antique lace and some sari trim. And then here, this is from a vintage book that I was lucky enough to pick up in a garden centre of all places. French stamp. There's lots of French stamps feature throughout. And then over the page, here's a little faux postcard, I suppose you'd say. So this is a ruby and pearl printout, I think. This is one of those antique illustrations. I just love all the detail on that. And then I've actually backed it onto a vintage postcard that had a very boring picture on the front. And I just love how that's turned out. Love how that's turned out. And just a few scraps of vintage lace on there. And then tucked in the pocket here is a letter dated 1945, all in French. I haven't translated it. My French is not that brilliant, but I'm sure it would be interesting to actually translate. And then this is also one of my own printables. I scanned some vintage wallpaper that I got, and I think I got that possibly from Rural Retro, Jack's at Rural Retro. So I scanned it, and I just love how it's come out, and I'm really, really pleased with that. So I've gone ahead and scanned, I think, every piece of vintage wallpaper that I have. So you'll be seeing more of them in my journals. So let's clip that back on there. And then on the other side, this is supposed to clip here. This is one of my favourite images from the Ruby and Pearl collection. I've forgotten which collection it is, but I will try and link it if I remember. I just love this lady. Love this. And I've backed that onto the original envelope that the letter came in, and just added a scrap of vintage wallpaper there, and made that into a little sort of floating pocket for you to put wherever you like in the journal. And then I've just used some newsprint from either late 1800s or early 1900s. Nice bit of sari ruffle here, and more of that gorgeous lace trim. Then over the page, got a nice piece of French ephemera, a nice receipt, lovely handwriting. I just love this. I wish my handwriting was as nice as that. Unfortunately, it's not. And then again, this is another postcard. So this is another printable from Heather at Ruby and Pearl. And then again, I've backed that onto a real vintage postcard that had a really boring photograph on the other side, and then just added a few stamps there. And that tucks in this pocket, which is made of a vintage French check. And then over the other side, you may have seen these tags on my Instagram. This is, I love these illustrations, and I've teamed it with some vintage wallpaper, more French ephemera there, and this has actually got a little pocket on the back so that you can tuck something in there. And then underneath that, there's this gorgeous blue envelope dated 1911, I think. Just love the colour of that. Absolutely love the colour of that. It's quite fragile though, so I need to be careful with that. So I'll just pop that in there. Do love these tags. I know I'm saying that myself, but I do love those tags. Then over the other side, there's the other half of the vintage French check, and that's a pocket there. And on this side, this is another of the antique illustrations. Again, backed on, made into a postcard. My favourite wax seal on the front. Look at the detail on that. That's just gorgeous. Just gorgeous. So that's a genuine antique illustration from a genuine antique book. And then on the other side, this is a vintage postcard, again, that had a scene on the front that wasn't particularly interesting. And I just love how these have turned out. I think I'll be making many more of them. Another ruby and pearl printout and some more stamps. I do love my stamps. If you've been following my creations, you'll know I love stamps. And then on the other side, this is some vintage French sheet music that I got. It was quite fragile, so that's why I backed it onto this printable here to give it a firmer base. It was just too fragile on its own. And then I've just added another of my tags made with the French ephemera, magazine cuttings and all black and white photos. A nice bit of trim there. Oh, and also some braille paper underneath, you can just see there. This side, more of that gorgeous lace. I absolutely love this. And then here on this side, more of my printable wallpaper and a vintage label there, and a gorgeous gold postcard. I absolutely love gold postcards. I love vintage and antique postcards, and they just can't get any better with when they've got gold on them. They just really can't. So this is a really nice one. And then here we have, I think, the largest tag I've ever done. It virtually takes up the whole of the page. And again, this is more rose illustrations. I'm a bit mad on these, really. Vintage wallpaper, gorgeous French ephemera, a receipt or invoice, and again on the back, little bit of vintage French book page, and just made into a little pocket. I love that, and I particularly love this page. I love the colours together, the orange and the pink. I do love that. Then moving over, there's another little tag that I've made with another of the antique illustrations, some old French invoice, braille paper and French book pages. And I love this trim here, really love this trim. And that goes in this lace pocket here. This is antique lace. More lovely ruffles and nice little Indian glass charm. And then over the page, we've got this gorgeous antique lace. Absolutely love that. And then this is part of a lace kimono. Is not vintage at all, but it has a lovely vintage look, and I love the crochet edge, so that just provides a bit of sort of hidden journaling space. And you'll see that I've spritzed the page with gold powders. Love these gold powders. More vintage wallpaper here. This isn't a printable. This is actual vintage wallpaper. We've got some French ledger paper here. Love that. Love the writing. And then this is a book plate from a book from 1929, if I remember right. I just love this image here, so I've just attached that to the page and made it into some hidden journaling space. More gorgeous lace, of course. And here on this page, more gold. Can't beat a bit of gold, really. And some lace scraps, antique lace, and this is another gorgeous piece of embroidered lace that I really like. And then on this side, this is another printable that I made. I'll tell you, I'm really rather chuffed with myself, actually. If you're not familiar with the word chuffed, it's like a Yorkshire term for pleased. So this was actually an Edwardian scrap that I got. I got a collection of Edwardian scraps, and this was one of them, and I scanned it and made it into a printable. Another antique illustration. I absolutely love this one. She's just gorgeous, and the writing's really tiny. I can't read it without my glasses on. I've not got my glasses on right now, but all these antique illustrations came from a book that was to do with theatre advertisements, menus, invitations, advertisements for various businesses, all in these lovely illustrations. Just a little scrap of antique lace there, and again, this is backed onto a postcard, and this is an original vintage postcard. This is from a book of roses, a David Austin book of roses that I got just recently. The book's only about 15 years old, so it's not true vintage, but the illustrations are just divine. So I just had to include them in here, and it goes so well with this rose printable. Then over the page, this is another that's a vintage wallpaper printable, and a stamp there. And I think I actually got that wallpaper from Crafty Paper Bits. Sarah at Crafty Paper Bits. Yes, I did. Sorry about the rustling. So yeah, I scanned that and printed that out. And then here's another gorgeous old invoice, receipt, or whatever it is. Nice bit of sparkly trim there. And then the centerpiece is this gorgeous vintage illustration of a peony. Absolutely love this, and I actually printed this onto tea-dyed paper as well, so that it got even more of an aged look. Love that. More of that vintage receipt or invoice, and the printable. I've left this blank so that you could attach your own tags or pockets or something to it. More gorgeous roses. Aren't they just gorgeous? And then on this side, the flap opens out more gold there. And then this is a birthday card from early 1950s, I think. But I just love the verse. Don't know if you can see that there. As spring shakes from her garments, the dust of winter drear, a rising hope and gladness to greet another year. Love that. And it opens out as well, so that gives you more journaling space. Put that back there. And then over the page, this is another of the Edwardian scraps. This one was actually a New Year one. So under there somewhere, or under here, it's got like a New Year greeting. But I didn't really want it to say New Year. So I covered it with lace, and I really like how it looks with the image here. More sari trim, and then I just sort of embellished it with a bit of gold sparkle on there. And this is also one that I scanned. And then a nice vintage tag there. And I think I got that from Donkey Journals. More of the French ledger. And then I love this page, absolutely love this page. We've got the gorgeous sari ruffle in green and blue. I've attached a little Indian glass bead charm. This is the postcard printable, similar to the one that I used on the inside cover, and I've just added this gorgeous embroidered applique trim, and then another one of the antique illustration postcards. Just look at that. And then on the other side of this one, this is actually one of my other favourite ruby and pearl images. Love this postcard image. So that goes well there. Just love this layout. Really pleased with this one. And then over the page, this is some more embroidered fabric. It's modern. Obviously you can see with the beads there, but I think it has a really nice vintage vibe. It works really well with the rest of the vintage stuff. And underneath here, obviously you can journal in this space, but underneath here there's another piece from the late 1800s newspaper. And on the other side, we've got some vintage black and white photo of Notre Dame in Paris. And then a postcard of the little palace in Paris. Love that. Just brightened it up there with a bit of trim. And then again, more of that printable wallpaper that I made. Little stock market share certificate coupon there. And then this is a tuck spot here made with antique lace. And over the other side, here we have yet another of my tags. You can tell there's a theme going on here, can't you, with my tags? Black and white image there of the Eiffel Tower, braille paper, ephemera, and flowers cut from a magazine. And then this is just a scrap from a French envelope. Just like the tones of the two together. So that goes there. On the other side, another of my printable postcards. I've just dressed up with some lace scraps. And then this was an image from the graphics fairy that I've just made into a little round tag for journaling. More of that vintage French sheet music. More ruby and pearl printable. And then this is, it's meant to be like a luggage label type thing. And that, again, is Graphics Fairy, if I remember right. And then just some bits here. Another vintage playing card. Oh, get my teeth in, I can't speak today. And another little tea card there. Then over the other side, we've got a pocket here. And then I've just folded over the flap of this envelope that I made from a book illustration. It was an envelope that it already came as an envelope. I think I got that from Sarah at Crafty Paper Bits. And then all I've done is added these bits and pieces. So this is another antique illustration. And I've added some vintage sheet music and a vintage label. Love how that's turned out. I really like that. And I love the colours. Love the pop of colour there. So that just folds around that page. Plenty of space for journaling and adding your own artworks or your own ephemera, that kind of thing. Another pocket from the vintage French check. And then this is some tatted lace that was part of a much larger piece. And my auntie actually made this. I can remember her making lace when I was a kid. And my mum gave me the whole piece. It was like quite a big piece. Lovely pattern and everything. So I just dyed it with a bit of fake avocado dye, which translates as tea and water-based ink. So I love how that's come out. I love that colour. Some vintage lace down the side here. Sorry, I'm a bit out of frame there, aren't I? I'm getting all excited. I'm getting too excitable, you see. And then this is another piece of antique lace. Love the little frill on this. That's really nice. And then this is another of my tags with the black and white photos. This is on a base. This is another ruby and pearl printable. She does excellent printables, so you know I'm sure you will be following her already, and I'm sure you'll know already that she has some amazing printables. Love how this tag's turned out, and just a little bit of vintage music on the back. And then over we have another of the Edwardian scraps that I got. And this, I think, was a Christmas one, which is really bizarre to us to see these days, to see sort of flowers as a Christmas greeting. So I just covered up the Christmas greeting because it didn't feel really appropriate for this journal. Just covered that with a bit of that lace. But this again, I've scanned all these in so that they can be printed off and I can use those images time and time again. This is the other side of that vintage book page. and a little wine label there. I love that. I've been dying to use one of these in journals since I got them. I love the stars and the moon because, of course, my name is Dark Moon Papery. And then this is more of that vintage wallpaper. So this is genuine vintage wallpaper. And then one of my little Dark Moon Papery labels. And I've actually printed that on some antique French manuscript. And then over the side to the back. Just love how this has turned out. So there you go. That's the custom journal. I hope you've enjoyed this flip through. I can't wait until the new owner sees this in person. I'm like so excited for her to see it. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate the support on Instagram and all your lovely comments on Instagram and on YouTube. Do keep following me. There's more to come. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.